It begins with the men and the boys in our homes, our schools, our churches, our workplaces, and our taverns, who must be raised to reject violence and abuse, and who must be raised to respect women, and who must be raised to protect and assist women. If we are serious about building an integrated region, we must build a Southern Africa in which the equal rights of all peoples are respected, where all people are treated decently and equally. We cannot submit to the intimidation and harassment of people seen as coming from elsewhere. As South Africans, we are deeply concerned and ashamed that nationals from other countries have in recent months been subjected to discrimination and ill treatment. I repeat, as South Africans, we are deeply concerned and ashamed that people from other nations, some whose leaders are here, were treated badly and were even forced to leave the country under threat of violence. The criminal actions of a few within our communities are a repudiation of the solidarity upon which this Southern African community is built. We cannot preach integration at summits and practice exclusion in the streets of our countries. I say this as a South African, to South Africans first of all, but this is a broader challenge to which we must apply ourselves as a community. Southern Africa has borne witness to the movement of people over millennia. Our people are the products of migration. Migration accounts for much of the diversity as well as the vibrancy and richness of this region. You just have to move to our various countries in Southern Africa, and you will find people speaking almost similar languages that you find in each of our countries, meaning that we are one people, meaning that we have moved across our region with ease. Now, as we work towards Vision 2050, we should seek a region in which people are able to freely move according to established principles, protocols, and laws. This means that we must work together to address the conditions that drive migration. It's been a joy for me to go to Zimbabwe and find that there are people who speak the same language that I speak, Venda-speaking people. And I've been amazed. How did you get here? And they ask, how did you get to where you come from? So that is the beauty of the richness of our region when it comes to where we all live and where we all come from. We need to work together to address conflict, instability, governance failure, poverty, and social discord. And we need to create equal economic opportunity and build inclusive institutions of governance. We seek a region where people move out of choice, not out of desperation. None of what we seek for our region is achievable without peace. Investment does not flow where there is conflict. People's basic social needs cannot be provided for in a war zone. An economic corridor cannot operate where territory is contested. The situation in the Eastern DRC remains the gravest test of our collective resolve in Southern Africa. Millions of fellow Africans have been displaced, have been killed. Thousands of them have been killed, but millions have been moved and displaced. A country of extraordinary mineral wealth has become a site of conflict and suffering. Soldiers from our community were deployed to support efforts to achieve peace and stability. They served with courage, with dignity and commitment. Some did not return home. We pay tribute to those who gave their lives for peace. We owe it to them and their families and to the people of the DRC to continue to seek a peaceful resolution to a conflict that has caused much destruction and hardship. In Mozambique, we welcome the progress that is being made, the inclusive national dialogue, and the signing of the political commitment that underpins it. In Madagascar, our panel of elders under the leadership of former President Joyce Banda has undertaken several missions in support of a process that must be Malagasy-owned and Malagasy-led. This community records its gratitude to her and also to the envoys that she works with. Our task is not to prescribe outcomes to the people of any member state. It is to hold open the space within which they may determine their own future. And in support of this principle, we must ensure that our election observation missions are adequately resourced and permitted to report plainly. We have established institutions of accountability that must be strengthened and must be allowed to do their work. The achievement of Vision 2050 depends in large measure on the effectiveness of our response to changes in our climate. Our region is increasingly subject to successive seasons of drought, of cyclones, and of floods. Our meteorological services warn of a growing El Nino effect in the coming season. That means reduced harvests, lower exports, pressure on our currencies, a higher cost of living, hunger amongst our people. Yet while we confront drought at one moment, we suffer catastrophic floods at another moment. We need to be ready for this. Homes, clinics, bridges, and roads and rails are usually just swept away, and we have to start all over again. Lives are lost and livelihoods are destroyed. We all know the destructive effects of changing climate. In April 2022, these very hills here in KZN were struck by floods that took more than 400 lives, destroyed homes, and closed the port on which this region depends. Resilience must therefore be built into every endeavor that we make to install infrastructure. We must strengthen the SADC Humanitarian and Emergency Operations Center so that our response is regional, but it must also be immediate rather than national and belated. We must act before a disaster strikes, rather than scramble for assistance after it has struck. We must develop a common position on loss and damage and speak with one voice on international forums. We are least responsible in this region for the climate damage that is taking place around the world that is having an effect on our region. So therefore, it requires that when we go to international forums, we must speak with one voice and be able to articulate a very clear message about what climate damage is doing to us. Let me return in closing to the vision of Pixley Kaisakasen. He spoke of chains dissolving, of arid plains turning red with harvest, of African cities becoming seats of learning and of science. And he declared that the brighter day was rising upon Africa. As we gather 120 years later, we should define the meaning of the brighter day. we should also be able to see exactly how this is having an impact on a rising Southern Africa. It should mean a refinery, not only a shaft. It should mean a canning plant, not only a farm. That is an agro-processing plant, and not only where we see just a field where we plant. It should mean electricity generated in one country lighting up a home in another country. It should mean a car that is assembled in one SADC country using parts that are manufactured in another SADC country and produced finally in another country. It should mean a young woman graduating from this university and building a company that seamlessly trades in all our SADC countries. That Vision 2050 should mean that a child that is born in any village, in any town or city within our region, having genuine prospect for life and the talents that she can get that can benefit her life anywhere else in our region. There are many students in this hall today. The Southern African Vision 2050 that we describe will not be run by those of us who are taking our seats tomorrow or day after tomorrow at the Intercontinental Hall. Those decisions will be taken by those students. It will be run, or they are the ones who will run it. It will be run by the students who are sitting here. This Vision 2050 is not our document. It is the document of the students who are here. And you, as students, you are entitled to demand an account of what we did with this document. And I wish to thank the University of KZN for hosting this lecture and for its contribution to the realization of the SADC Vision 2050. This is a university that is doing a number of things in real practice to put our region on the map, and they even want to take us into space as a university, and we thank them for that. Yes, I should say they are developing rockets that they want to shoot into space, and they are doing a great job. We welcome in particular the 4 pillars identified by the university: advancing regional value chains in agro-processing and critical minerals, and researching ethical AI and digital inclusion, combining indigenous knowledge and innovation systems with climate science and agroecological resilience, and building human capital through youth and women and entrepreneurship programs. Oh, that's quite a lot. Through policy dialogues and briefs, inter-university research networks, and multi-sectoral consultations, the university has fully embraced its responsibility to contribute to the development, transformation, and integration of our region. Now, this is university speak. This is what they wanted me to say, and I'm saying it. Now, our 120 years ago, the renewal, this is me now, the renewal of Africa was a proposition to be defended against a hostile world. It is no longer a proposition. If we think about it more carefully, it is a program of work. It has now become what we must do. It has actions, it assigns responsibilities, and it also has deadlines. The renewal of our continent, ladies and gentlemen, students and all, is imminently achievable. We are no longer where Pixlika Isaka Seme was more than 100 years ago. 100 years later and more, we are now in a new era, and we can see exactly what he prophesied about being achievable. The realization of our vision for Southern Africa is definitely within our means. So what now behoves on us is for us to make good on our commitment to build a peaceful, inclusive, competitive, and industrialized Southern Africa. So let us become a place where all citizens, regardless of place or circumstances, may enjoy sustainable economic well-being, justice, and freedom. So the work is cut out for us. All we need to do is to go out and do the work. Students have their role to play. We as politicians have our role to play. Business leaders, academics have their role to play, and everyone has their role to play. So I thank you. I thank you for giving me this great opportunity of being at this great university of our region. Thank you very much.